In this perspective, this is why with Comexposium and their help through SIAL and Rajan in India, we have decided to come to the encounter of India. And that was for us very important. I think it's a bold move in this situation of COVID-19, where everyone seems to be really, squash to what they can do at the moment to survive. We have decided to take the opposite and to be very courageous, very aggressive in this move and decide to go in India.
And with due respect and with all humbleness and humility, I will say that we are blessed that at InterAds, we are perhaps the first organizer in this country to have announced a major brand launch in the time of crisis, which only goes to show that the potential that this country has, the power of the face-to-face exhibition that the industry believes in is so much alive. When people are giving up hope, we are living in depression day in and day out when you talk about exhibition not taking place or something, going back to this wave and that wave. And here we are launching a new show of a wine along with SIAL. So it's a huge celebration, I will say, not only for us at InterAds or at SIAL. I would say it's a celebration of the exhibition worldwide, that Rod has taken that courageous step to announce a launch of Vinexpo brand, which is not a small brand to begin with, to India.
Welcome to our session, and Rod, I'd like to address my first question to you. We all know that Vinexpo collaborated and merged with Comexposium's wine portfolio last year. Last year was difficult for the global industry, but then how do you see, what are your plans for the coming year?
Indeed, last year was a very difficult year for everyone in this exhibition industry with this COVID-19 crisis. And to be very honest, at that moment now, it's not completely over yet. Nevertheless, last year with our friends from Comexposium, who's the third largest exhibition organizer in the world, we have decided to put together our asset in the wine exhibition industry together to really strengthen the position of our shows worldwide. We have the capability now to bring our wine producers to the encounter of the wine buyers everywhere in the world, whether you are based in the US, whether you are based in Europe, whether you are based in Asia. And for us, it was very important to really strengthen this partnership. Even in a context where no exhibition was able to be made in 2020, we still have strong plans for the future. 2021 is still in a bit difficult situation because the crisis is not over, as I mentioned. But it doesn't prevent us to have a long-term vision. And long-term vision is that even though we are convinced that the market will not be able to recover very quickly from this crisis, what I mean by that, I mean that international buyers are not going to travel from one continent to another. But the strong presence of winemakers, wine producers across our portfolio of events is very important. And we will help them to recover from what has been lost over the last 2 years. In this perspective, this is why with Comexposium and their help through SIAL and Rajan in India, we have decided to come to the encounter of India. And that was for us very important. I think it's a bold move in this situation of COVID-19, where everyone seems to be really, squash to what they can do at the moment to survive. we have decided to take the opposite and to be very courageous, very aggressive in this move and decide to go in India. I doubt many companies will take this courageous step moving forward. But for me, it's a strong signal that we want to send at Vinexposium, that we believe and we have trust and confidence in the capability of our exhibition business, but also the capability of the wine producer worldwide to be resilient after what we have suffered, let's be honest, suffered the last 2 years.
Absolutely. In fact, sorry to cut you, Rod. This is what I wanted to come to, the big news that you have announced a new event in India in collaboration with SIAL this year. This is exciting news because India is a growing market, emerging market, and one of the leading consumers of the spirits industry. How do you see the role of your event, this collaboration, and what are your plans? We'd like to understand that.
But let me first tell you this. I don't know if your audience knows that, but I've been living in Asia for many years, so I have a good sense of what's happening beyond Europe. I mean, this is very important. The second news for me is that we have a long-term plan in India. It's not a one-shot. It's not a 2 years approach. For us, what I'm excited about is to start and to build a long journey with India. And that's very important for me. India is having a strong population. I think it's more than 1 billion inhabitants in India. Young population. The rise of the middle class is very important. You have engaged in a lot of strong and important reforms over the last 10, 15 years in India. And I mean, it's a growing market. Spirit is very strong and very popular in India, and I am very sure that the wine industry is going to take a significant share in India in the coming years. Wine industry is supported by the wine from India. That's number one, and you are starting to produce decent and good wines in India, and one of the region is very famous for the fruit wine as well. So that's stronger producers are fueling the market. And in comparison, foreign international wine is also starting to enter the market in India. So I think this is the duty of a platform like Vinexpo, to be able to bring together wine from India and wine from overseas together in the encounter of what's the Indian wine buyers wants to see. And Indian wine buyers, they are represented by wine importers themselves, but also all the fine foods, the HoReCa business, which is very supportive to bring and offer to their clients different kind of products. So for me, I think there is a bright future in India. I'm very excited by this approach. And I think this is, again, a strong signal that we send to our community worldwide that we believe in the future. The world of the wine and spirit hasn't stopped with COVID-19. It's only the beginning, and we are here to support our industry. We are here as exhibition organizer to open new markets. This is our job. And with Rajan, this is what we believe we should do as a professional. So long-term approach, long-term vision, a lot of synergy with SIAL, and Rajan will explain how and why we believe that this is very relevant. And I can't wait to come to India, let's be honest, because I want to be there and I want to build this with you.
Absolutely. And we are hoping and eagerly anticipating that this year will be the year of revival for the global exhibition industry. And well, for the collaboration, there is nobody better than Mr. Rajan Sharma in India, because he knows the industry inside out. Mr. Sharma, you are a veteran for the Indian exhibition industry. I'd like to understand your take on this collaboration, and where do you feel is the synergy between Vinexpo and SIAL?
Thank you, Raghav. Thank you, Rod. Well, to begin with, I am first and foremost very humbled, grateful to God that in these crises, when people, organizers specifically, are looking for survival, like Rod said, it is our job as organizers to serve our industry, and with due respect and with all humbleness and humility, I will say that we are blessed that at InterAds, we are perhaps the first organizer in this country to have announced a major brand launch in the time of crisis, which only goes to show that the potential that this country has, the power of the face-to-face exhibition that the industry believes in is so much alive. When people are giving up hope, we are living in depression day in and day out. When you talk about exhibition not taking place or something, going back to this wave and that wave. And here we are launching a new show of a wine along with SIAL. So it's a huge celebration, I will say, not only for us at InterAds or at SIAL. I would say it's a celebration of the exhibition worldwide, that Rod has taken that courageous step to announce a launch of Vinexpo brand, which is not a small brand to begin with, to India. When crises are across the world, there is a gloom there. So perhaps we are the first one in the world to launch, and actually not in India, we are perhaps the first one as organizers to launch a new show in these crises. So first and foremost, that should be something which we should all acknowledge and say, that's leading by example. So we hope that others will also do the same. So number one is that. Number two, coming back to the synergy and the collaboration. Well, it was a no-brainer that, with SIAL now being the largest premier brand in India, and Vinexpo being Vinexpo has to come to India because the wine sector in this country is growing. The exposure value is definitely improving by the day. So you can see the wine culture. We are a country where middle class and the younger generation is something which is exposed to a lot of the Western bit or the real world, as we say. So the wine culture is growing, and with a brand like Vinexpo coming with and merging or collaborating with SIAL, which is a food premier brand and known across India, and at SIAL our strategy is very simple. We started with Delhi and are in Delhi, moved to Northeast and continue to be Northeast, and we will be launching our 2 more events in other parts of India. So we will be taking at least 3 to 4 events in one fiscal year. So SIAL footprint is growing, and Vinexpo will collaborate in the regions where it has to collaborate in terms of the wines requirement per se. For instance, in Northeast, we had a webinar with the Northeast entrepreneurs, and the webinar title was Fruit Wines from Northeast. Now, when we went to Northeast, for example, we were taken aback by the treasures of Northeast in terms of food. And suddenly wine came up with fruit wine as well. And Rod was also one of the speakers at the webinar. So the whole objective of organizing an exhibition is also to explore and find out new opportunities, new places, new ventures, new investments, both from domestic and international. So when we have the common stakeholders from the community of the food and beverage, so we are looking at developing a huge project, a huge asset of Vinexpo with SIAL. So this year, as we are starting with SIAL in partnership with Vinexpo, where the Vinexpo brand identity is going to be huge in terms of an individual participation within SIAL, where we have already got a fantastic response during these times, both domestically and internationally. So we intend to do all the activities such as the master classes, tasting, and getting the interaction between the buyer and sellers, both domestically and internationally. And let's not forget that at SIAL we have common stakeholders, be it from the chef community, for instance, or be it from the importers community. So we have a lot of synergy between the two. So it is basically moving our one product into merging with another, where we have common buyers, we have common audience, and we have common, I would say, attendance. And the only thing is, the difference that we are going to make from what has been happening in the past is that we are not going to be located in one region, one place only. And that is the difference that we are going to make. We are going to move to satellite towns because of the way things are going. We are living in a new world. So as they say, if you can't take the horse to the well, you take, you can't take the well to the horse, you take horse to the well. So what we are going to do is we are moving SIAL and Vinexpo will move in different parts of the regions of the country in one fiscal year. So this will give a lot of opportunities for our, be it from our exhibitor perspective, be it from a attendance perspective, or be it from the brand exposure of our exhibitors and ourselves, for that matter, to move within the region. Because let's not forget one thing, India is a continent in itself. So when in Europe, you can have back-to-back shows, one show happening in Germany, and after 3 months, one show happening in France. I mean, it makes no rocket science to say that why can't we do that? Just because it has not been done in the past doesn't mean that we can't do it, especially in a sector like food and wine, which is a growing sector. So this is something which we are going to, the strategy is very simple. The growth is our motto, but growth along with our keeping in view the investment that we are going to bring to the country, both in terms of imports and exports. So this is going to be a matchmaking exposure of our local wines, which are also a treasure. I mean, like today, our wines are one of the best wines in the world also. But the only problem is the exposure value seems to be a bit of a setback, I would say. So those are the things. Similarly, there are some fantastic wines across in the world which we need to go. And let's not forget one more thing. There are some geopolitical issues happening. Other countries are looking at other options, other regions to divert because of whatever reason. Some country cannot export their products to a country for whatever reason. So that country is looking for a diversion. So that is happening. And this is the market. So India is the most happening growing market. We can see from the way we have recovered. For instance, our recovery rate of the industry is amazing. It's fantastic the way we are recovering. I mean, like we serve various industries like construction, for instance, or other industries. The recovery is so good that the problem with the people is that they can't have the supply. For instance, the supply mode is a problem here, which is not happening in other countries, which is showing you the way the future is looking at India. And this is because of our policies, the open policy the government of India has got. So these are the measures that we should take advantage of. Because, okay, we can talk about survival, we can talk about gloom, we can talk about COVID, but let's do something better for the years to come. This year is a recovery year. Next year is going to be let's go and shine year. So that is what we intend to do.
Absolutely. The show must go on. And on that positive note, I thank you both, gentlemen, for taking out time for us. And I invite our readers, our audiences to check out our upcoming issue. If you want to read in detail about this synergy, about this new collaboration and the rich history of their respective shows. With this, I thank you for taking out time, sir. And I wish you all the very best for your upcoming initiative.
Thank you, Raghav.